Hello everyone, welcome to this session where we'll quickly demonstrate setting up a source connection for flat files and a target endpoint in Data Lakehouse, and we'll also quickly cover as to how we set up a sync bridge to load data from a source flat file to a target, and we'll take Snowflake as a target for this example. So we log into Data Lakehouse, and on the left, as you can see here, you have a connections tab. So if you click on the connections tab, you have two options. You have the sources and then you have the targets. So first we'll set up a source. You click on source, and on the right you can see that there are various other options that you can choose to set up a source. For this example, for example, if you had to set up a source of flat file. So when I say flat file, if you want to load any file, which is a CSV or it's an XLS or a file of the format XLSX, you can use this particular source to load data from these files. So for the sake of convenience, I've already created a source and I'll walk you through the parameters that are required to set up. So you need to give a name or an alias to your source. So if you've given flat file source as the name, the target schema is basically it's a unique name in the target destination. So in our case, it's going to be the name of the schema in Snowflake, where Data Lakehouse will load data from the CSV file into your target schema in Snowflake, and the file type has to be CSV, XLS, or XLX. For this requirement, if you click on Save and Continue to Uploads, you can basically choose the file and it will load a file from your local system and you can upload it here. And in case if you have multiple files and you just want to see if your file that you want to load is in the list, you can just search by the name. So if I just say products and if I do a search, it should basically gets me the name of the file. So for example, if I choose, let's say, order, which does not exist, I should get nothing returned. That is done. So we have set up the source, and then we move on to setting up the target. So as I explained that for this scenario, we will be taking Snowflake, but you have the option to choose BigQuery or Snowflake as your target. So we go on to look at the target, and then if you look at the parameters, you specify a unique name for your target. It's going to be Snowflake target. You specify the account URL. So when I say account URL, whenever you load to Snowflake, it comes with an account number .snowflake.computing. So it's important that you specify the whole URL, that is the account number .snowflakecomputing.com, to the account URL here. Specify the port that you want to connect to. 443 is the number that we generally use. A database is basically the database in Snowflake where Data Lakehouse will load the data in. Then you have the warehouse that Data Lakehouse will essentially use to run the data and the loads. Specify the user by which, so whenever Data Lakehouse will load data in Snowflake, it's going to come across the name DLH underscore test. And Snowflake is a role-based system, so every user should have a role mapped to which specifies what are the permissions given to this user in Snowflake. So you have Data Lakehouse underscore role, and then we choose username password for authentication. So Data Lakehouse, whenever it loads and connects to Snowflake, it's going to use DLH underscore test as the username and this password as the password to do. So once you can actually do a save and test. And if you look on the right, you will see that after all the parameters are right, you should have a success message indicating that everything has gone right. And then after that, we go to sync bridges. And we have the source, we have a target, but we need to have a bridge which indicates that we have to load the bridge. What does the bridge have? So, sorry, going back to the sync bridges. If we set up a new sync bridge, you just have to specify the name of the bridge. And this could be file test bridge. We specify that we want to load it from flat file source. And we specify that we want to load to the targets that we have Snowflake target. You can specify the time zone if you want to load on GMT or if a New York time zone, East Coast, Central Time, Mountain Time, you can choose accordingly. So let me just choose GMT for now. You have the option to load at different frequencies. It can, for now, it's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 6 hours, but in future we plan to even deploy frequency for 30 minutes and 50 minutes also. So let's just choose frequency for every hour. You save the sync bridge. Or we already have a sync bridge that's been set up, so it's not letting you set up two different bridges for the same options. So if I just go back to the bridge that's already set up, you have a, a bridge which syncs from the source flat file to the target Snowflake Snowflake system, and it's running and it's enabled right now. But if you want to perform the initial load, to load all the data from a source to target, we just go to actions and we say run sync bridge right now, and that should start your initial load. And the idle here basically indicates the status of your bridge. So for right now it's idle, and whenever this data runs, it should indicate the status of the bridge, if it's running or if it's completed, if it's idle, and so on. I hope you find this demo interesting and useful. Please reach out to us on the Data Lakehouse website if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you so much.